Welcome to Thursday, January 20th, 2022, your day weather podcast brought to you by Chugwater Chili. Check out Chugwater Chili Dip and Dressing Mix. It's a southwestern blend of spices perfect for dipping crackers, vegetables, and chips, or use it as a dry season for pork, chicken, or vegetables. It's a perfect spice for those roast and crock pot meals. Get yours today with discount code ChugwaterDon for 20% off at chugwaterchili.com. Chugwater Chili, the spice of Western life. Well, after our Arctic kiss yesterday, where it got soupy and icy and a little snowy in many areas, we're going to be in between weather systems today. The Arctic air is actually going to retreat a little to the north and east, and that will allow temperatures today to rebound after a cold start to the day. There's a Pacific weather system, though, coming in tonight and Friday, bringing a return chance of a little bit of snow for some of you. Going to be a nice weekend. In fact, this is a really good weekend because we don't expect much wind. Temperatures won't be bad. There'll be fresh snow on the ski slopes and snowmobile and cross-country trails, and good ice on lakes for ice fishing. So this is going to be a good weekend. Now, we do have another front coming in late Monday night and Tuesday. That'll bring another wave of cold, a little bit of light snow again. More active weather's coming at the end of the month and into early February. Today's satellite photo shows this swirl of clouds over western British Columbia right here. This is the low that's going to be moving and marching southeast rather quickly as we get into the overnight hours of tonight and into tomorrow. So it'll move out of British Columbia into Washington, Oregon, Idaho, into Montana. Then it's going to move into the central Rockies late tonight and tomorrow. This blue you're seeing here is areas of fog and areas of low cloudiness still caught up along and east of the divide in that Arctic air mass that is still along the divide this morning. But we'll see that fade away and retreat a little bit back to the north and east where the real deep cold air is. These are temperatures as of 5 this morning across the northern plains. So you can see extremely cold in the northern plains, North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota, Iowa, eastern and central Nebraska, all waking up to sub-zero temperatures this morning. So you can see the Arctic air, the deep Arctic air, is staying up into the plains and the northern plains areas, and will likely be the case, I think, through next week as well before the Arctic air begins to push a little bit more west. These are temperatures this morning relative to 30-year averages. So you can see the purple here in that very, very cold area I showed in the northern plains and the Corn Belt. But we've got cold air getting all the way now down to the Gulf Coast with this little surge coming on through. Quickly, I want to hit on La Nina again. I gave you a little bit of a La Nina update yesterday, but we just got some new data in about La Nina in terms of the official forecast for folks who keep track of these things. Yesterday, I showed you that the sea surface temperatures were warming on the western edge of the La Nina area while the cold was still hanging into the east. But this erosion here, a real sign that La Nina is in its death throes. And the latest projections based on the computer modeling is showing a continuation of sea surface temperatures along this line getting closer to, let's say, neutral status. Not El Nino status, but neutral status, basically still suggesting that La Nina is going to be going away. Look at this one model up here is really warm, but we still have some models that are a little bit colder. But the clustering of the modeling is right at that neutral state, which is what we expect to happen. And as we go forward and look at the new predictions, what you see here at the bottom, these are the 3-month intervals. So this is where we are January, February, March, and then you can see as we go forward. What you want to notice here is that as we get into April, March, April, May, June, and as we get into the summer season, the red indicates the probabilities of an El Nino. The gray bars represent neutral, and the blue bars represent La Nina probabilities. So what we're seeing here is a transition from colder sea surface temperatures in the Pacific to sea surface temperatures that will be not El Nino. We're not predicting an El Nino, but a neutral state with La Nina fading, which is really, really good news. So that updates once a month. We'll have another update for you in February. So the predictions look to go in with what we've been expecting, and that's good news. Here's our next front with high pressure off the west coast. Here's our next wave. I just showed it to you on satellite imagery. This is by tomorrow morning. So overnight tonight and tomorrow morning, the system is going to move this way, and it's going to bring another round of precipitation. Now notice, unlike the last wave, which stayed east of the divide, we are going to have a little bit of snow. The Yellowstone Plateau, the Jackson area, back up here into Idaho, the eastern parts of Washington and Oregon, getting a little bit of the white stuff. as well as the Wasatch, the western slope of Colorado, even Arizona. These are not significant amounts of snow, but every little bit helps. So this will be putting a little bit more on the ski slopes and in the snowpack areas. And if you look at the snowfall forecast, this is what is predicted to fall from late tonight all the way through late Friday. So you can see it's really more on the divide and west of the divide than the last system. As we look ahead, this is by Tuesday morning. High pressure still along the west coast, and we're going to see a dip in the jet stream here again. So the coldest of cold is going to be up here. This is where the real bitter, bitter cold will be in North America relative to normals. But northerly flow will drive in colder air. And there's a little wave, a little bit of a low coming into British Columbia again that'll go up and down. And what this will do late Monday into Tuesday is bring in some colder air and another little episode of light snow again. And so here you can see it. This looks a lot like what just happened. A little Arctic kiss late Monday into Tuesday, upslope again east of the divide. It could get soupy again. A little bit of snowfalls, especially in the northern areas up near the Montana, Wyoming border area. But again, along and east of the Continental Divide is where that Arctic kiss early next week goes. Now looking further out, this is by next Friday, the 28th. Notice we've got a little wave here, a low here, another low here, and the high pressure ridge is wanting to be a little bit more to the west. So the migration of the coldest temperatures relative to average, which is right here right now, is going to be working its way further west as we get into early February. And this is by January 31st, Monday the 31st, a pretty robust ridge out here in the Gulf of Alaska. The troughiness is now more into the west, and high pressure is building, and a warm-up will come to the eastern areas of the United States. So it's going to be a process. So this is Monday the 31st I'm showing you. Today's the 20th. So it's going to be 10 to 14 days before this whole process fulfills itself, but we're going to gradually get there between now and then. Have yourself a good Thursday. Stay warm. We'll see you on Friday.